to Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, this is the day that I try to break away from my weekly wargaming work and also some of my sci-fi fantasy underpinnings on Saturday, of course, and try to catch up with something a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten path, or something that is outside those other areas. So today I'm covering Crisis. This is a economic game, a Euro economic game. It's all about economics. Now, if you look at the cover of the board here, you're going to go, wait a second, this looks kind of like out of a scene of Fifth Element here with flying taxis and the like. So why isn't this on Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday? Well, I'll tell you why it's not on Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday, because this is really an economic game. The futuristic elements of this are really not a huge part of driving the mechanics of this game forward. They are, I think it's kind of there, but it's not the focus. Economics is the focus of this. You have this country that you're an investor in, and the country is in crisis. And so it's how you are, pursuing your business opportunities and trying to help the country get out of that crisis, but also, make a little bit for yourself along the way. That is kind of the engine of the game here. Let's take a look at the focus of the game, I should say. Let's take a look at the back of the box here. And this is, it's for 1 to 5 players. That's one of the reasons I kind of picked this up. This was on sale. It was like a bundle deal at Fun Again Games. And for you that are in the market or buy stuff online from time to time, Fun Again Games is a game company, the online kind of game company, that would have decent deals from time to time, and they do bundles. But I just got a notice from them, they're going out of business. So, if you want to look at what they have, better look now, because I think at least their online catalog is going out of business. I think they have a couple of brick and mortar stores that might still be around, but their online offerings, I think, are going the way of the dodo. So check that. If you're interested in anything, check that out. But this one was part of a bundle, and I've got a few expansions with it as well. So I'm not going to do a separate unboxing for that. So I've got some of the expansions here that go along with it. We'll take a look at that after we get into this box. But as you can see here, you've got a lot of wooden tokens here, or wooden bits, for representing a lot of the different resources and markers on the board. And you also have counters. You've got workers. There's different type of workers in this game. As I said, this is very much an economic engine, so to speak. Let's take a look at the description here. Whoa, it's kind of hard to see that there. A land with a glorious past, a most uncertain present, and an even more unpredictable future. An economy in ruins, a society at war with itself, an austere plan imposed by foreign creditors, an opportunity. Play by the rules or not. Above all, you must survive this crisis. So let's get into, there's not a lot there, but I think that kind of sums up the overall arc of this narrative. So get into the box here. And, okay, box, kind of thin. Little warped on it, a little indented there, but not too bad. I mean, still, you can see a little bit the thin nature of it. It kind of turned into an hourglass shape there. Wow, we got a lot of bits in here. We got a bag of bits. We'll take a look at that in a second here. We got a bag of bags, or a rubber band bag, group of bags. We got some big cards. These are like tarot-sized cards. We'll get into that. Some more of the big cards here. We got a baggie. There we go. We have the rules. We'll definitely get into that. Just making sure that it was in English. Sometimes you never know. Then let's dump out the rest of this stuff here. You got a little bit of a cityscape in there. It's kind of interesting. Let's put that over to the side here. We got the map. Let's pull this map out. Normally, you know me, I start with the rules, but today I thought let's get the map out, or the game board out, because that's where that's going to help get an understanding of what we're looking at here. So you got two sides to the boards here. Don't know which. This side's kind of grayed out. This side is definitely more vibrant, so I don't know if there's a difference between. The board is a little hard to manipulate there, but there we go. Let's get all this stuff out of the way here, and awkward. All right, now let's go periscope a little bit and get a little bit better view of this board here. So this is the area this is the game area, and this is where you're going to keep track of everything here. You've got, it's kind of a worker placement game, not kind of, it is. You're going to be putting your people out to take advantage of some of these different areas here. And then there's going to be unique land opportunities. Those are some of the big cards that go out here. And then you've got some economy here. This tells you, like, when you want to buy resources, how much you got to pay for the resources. And this is the overall economic track. So you're going to start, I think, right at the edge of yellow. But the crisis, as the crisis gets worse, your economy is going to go down. And if you ever go past this 0 point on this track, game over. That's one way you lose the game. And this is a marker here to keep track of all your funds or your growth in the economy here. So interesting board here. As you said, you can see some of the futuristic landscape. You got some flying cars over here and stuff, but where's Corbin Dallas? There, that must be right there. Anyway, but that doesn't, the futuristic aspect of this really doesn't play a big role in this game. This is, again, an economic engine of sorts. So sorry for the glare on that over there. Let's put the black cloth there. That kind of helps tone it down. So let's look at some of the bits you get here in this bag. I'm totally going backwards. I always hit the rules first, don't I? So you got all kinds of bits here. So this is for the red player, their tokens that they're going to be able to use. You see there's a little briefcase there. There's a little guy there. And so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, that's not one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 5 players. Got my silica intake for the day. Then you've got these resources here. These look like research or technology or something. Little beakers. Got some gears here. Got some steel beams here. Got some bread here. That's your food, I imagine. Got some power or electricity. So they're going to need that to power your buildings. And then you've got some gems maybe, or minerals of some sort. So those are your resources, and these are the player pieces. Then you get the baggies. I'm gonna put those over there. Let's look inside these big cards here and see what we have. These are really good sized cards here. So let's see what we have. Just can't get anything open today. Oh, there is a side thing. I should have used the side thing. All right. So, a little bit of a linen texture to it. They're not super thick, but they're not just brittle, right? They're decent size there. So you got some. Looks like these are some places where you hold your resources. Maybe these are for each of the players here, because these look like places where you can hold the various resources. Oh, and there's the colors at the top. So those are for the players there. Then you have, these are, not sure what these are. These look like investments or something. Like your investment in renewable energy technology pays off. So it tells you what you get there. So you got some of these cards here. Some kind of investments of sorts, maybe. As I said, this is all about, the economy and your business and moving things forward. Then we got some of these cards here. These don't look good. These look like the different colors on this crisis here, kind of your crisis track. Don't know what that is there. Then we have, so these are probably things that happen at different crisis sections, or different, like workers' union strike. Those are the reds. You got some yellows here, emergency taxes. You got some greens here, emergency taxes. A lot of taxes in this, right? Credit downgrade. So anyways, you've got quite a bit of different cards there. So let's get into the other deck of cards here. Then we've got, we had one of these here. These are continuation. These are those special buildings. I think there might be, like this has a 3 on it. This has a 2 on it. This has a 1 on it. Then we got some cards over here we'll put down. So these might be different levels that come out during the game of the different kind of buildings that you can take over. And they're gonna have requirements to use them, and these might indicate the type of worker that you need, and the workers are going to be down here, but you're going to have to hire workers with different skill sets to do stuff. And like this, I think it's going to require power as well to power it or the like. But there's different requirements in the game, and that's kind of the key part of the game is getting these buildings, empowering them, and then they give you resources. And then by getting other resources, you can power other buildings, and eventually you're going to get your economy up, or you're going to get your profits up. So here's a bank, here's a farm, here's heavy industry. Is this a level? It's a level 1. Mines, power plant, resort. Oh, there's more bank. Let's put that bank in with the banks right now. Comms, more farms. Oh, there's all kinds of different things here. So, I probably shouldn't have put the bank with that, because that bank's a 1. Just leave it there. Because you have these different levels on these. There's heavy industry, power plants, resorts. So as you get different levels, you get better buildings. How's that sound? Freighters here and the like. Here's a port. And then you get a spaceport. So you do get some sci-fi in there, right? But there's a spaceport there. So as you can see here, the futuristic theme is kind of painted on. I mean, this is basically an economic game. This is your, looks like a player aid here. These look like all player aids here. Let's put this down for a second. These are going to be over here. So this kind of tells you your some of your resource conversion type charts on what import, export, black market. Here's your export options. So this is your export player aid. This is your production player aid. So this is the necessary employee is over here. The input. You got the name. You got the investment cost. The gains. So this is what the kind of the output of this building. The level, extra manager icon, and then this is the bonus employee. So these are the required employee, but if you had these employees, you're going to get more output on there. So that's your production player aid, and then it's weird you only have 3 of those, and you can play up to 5 people. So let's look at the back here. Here's your employees. So you got the quality, color, name, and skill level. So you got regular employees, you got foreign employees, and there's a whole thing here on acquiring foreign employees, and it kind of builds in the whole visa system. It's harder to get some foreign employees to come in. There's like a quota or visa kind of system, and you've got to go through that, and the game simulates that through its play. Kind of interesting, kind of the detail they got into on some of this. Then you got, here's your operations. So these are like the different places you can go to. You've got shady business, government subsidy, leadership, initiative, loan. And loans are like in most economic games, if you don't pay them back, they're going to be minus victory points at the end of the game. And you're going to have to pay for them each game turn, right? You got to pay your interest on them, so there's kind of a load on it. Domestic industry, temp employees, foreign employees, companies, imports, energy exchange, production, and export. So, I mean, as you see here, we have three different types. You have regular employees, foreign employees, and temp employees. So, I mean, it really is getting into the details of running a business and economy in that regard. Then you've got your round structure. So this is kind of your sequence and play, event, loan interest. You got to pay that loan interest every year. Planning, operations. This is where you're putting your people out, or the worker placement, and then the evaluation. So that might be one of the key player aids there. And then we got the export. These are the export contracts. So let's put these down here, because I think these go with some of this here, doesn't it? Maybe not. So we have these export contracts here, whether it's food, minerals, chemicals, industrials, or some of the things that you can export there. And then we have these charts here. I think this might be dependent on the number of players that you use these for, because these are, let's start with here. Here's a solo player. So this is going to go up here in that far top right corner, and this is going to keep track of your rounds. So it looks like the game is only 7 rounds, and what your goal is after those rounds. So you're going to have like a target to keep track on this chart, that if you don't get to there's going to be, I don't know if you automatically lose, or if this crisis bar starts going down, or I got to get into the rules a little bit more on that. But this is kind of the round tracker that's basically showing what's the goal of the game, or what's the target of the game, and what are some of the thresholds or milestones that you have to hit in the game. And there's several of them depending upon the number of players that you're playing with. They change up a little bit, and there's different ones for different number of players and within themselves as well. So there you have that. So what do we do with the since I'm going through all the bits first, let's look at the counters. These are pretty thick. I mean, you get 3 counter sheets. This one's a fold out there, but they're relatively thick here. Pretty good thickness there. And these are just some of the different counters. So there's some of your workers here, so you can see here. And these are like some of the resources. Not sure what that is. That's not good. That might be part of the debt or what have you. They're double-sided. And then we've got, fold out here, some more workers. And these are just mainly tokens, like when you go over a certain level, you get over 50. And see these little squares with the punch out in the middle, those are for these tracks here to keep track of stuff on here. You have a little square thing there, keep track of there. So there's your counters. So now with all that, how do you play this game? So let's look at the rules here. The rule booklet is 20 pages, but the back is good use of space here on the back with your round structure. So you have that laying out there. So you have that on that little card, but you have it out here too, so you know what you're supposed to do in a round. This is more index stuff, all the deployees that you have on here, the export contracts, the companies. Again, a lot of this stuff is on the cards, but here you have a little reference here. Here's an FAQ. So really the rules are 16 pages, because that's when you get to end of the round, end of the game. So here's your introduction, table of contents, explaining all the bits here. And that's your warehouse. That's one of the first things we opened up. These are the events, and the events come out depending upon, I guess, that crisis level that you're at. Here's the influence. That's one place you should go to get those, and those are kind of those bonus contracts or events that you get. The different companies, we talked about that in the middle row there. There's your export contracts. Those are a lot of those counters here. So these are your export contracts. Here's your setup, how everything goes on the setup. Gameplay, planning, and that's where the operations, where you're putting your workers, kind of a worker placement, and what happens when you place them in those different areas. A little bit more of a description of each of those different areas. There's some of your workers there. Worker, farmer, engineer, banker. And again, those factor into some of the companies that you want to go for, because you either need to have an acquired worker of a certain type, or you get a bonus if you have a certain worker of a type. There's those companies there. Good explanation of that. There's imports. There's an energy exchange. You get some extra energy to power your companies. Production. Exports. Evaluation. This is where you compare the VP grid. This is your VP grid over here. Shows you how well you're doing. End of round, end of game. So, and then you have the rest of his references. So there you have it. That is what you get in a box of Crisis. As you can see, this is a, I don't know if it's necessarily heavy, but it's definitely midweight, mid to heavy economic simulation. And this is all about, the type of companies you want to go for, the type of workers you need to get for those companies, how you manage your resources, what resources you go for, how you handle exports, but all under the umbrella of this crisis track that's kind of limiting you. And you can lose the game if you do too much of one thing that's not really helping out the overall economy. So you want to help out, you want to win, right? So you want to help yourself, but you need to kind of help, everybody needs to kind of help out the economy in moving it forward, because if you just let it go to hell, it's going to get down in this red real quick, and you're going to have a problem, and everybody loses. At least that's my understanding. So let's look at some of the expansions that came along with it. This was a bundle, and this was really cheap. I can't remember how much this was, but it was all this. The bundle and the expansion was, I don't know, like maybe less than $20, maybe. I don't think it was less than 10, but it was really pretty cheap. You get a lot in here. I mean, just for the bits, it was worth it, right? So there's a game designers and inventors expansions here. Tells you the setup of how you use these, and basically it's giving you a special worker here, it looks like. So these are the game designers. Got to have the game designers, right? And then the inventors. So you got some extra workers there. It looks a little bit like Einstein there, right? And so they're going to give you some extra, and there's an explanation of how to use those to give you a little bit extra playability or variability as you want to get into this game a little bit. Those don't look like they, break the game or add anything super complicated to the overall gameplay. Then you have some of this. This is the new economy. So this is going to tell you about how you shuffle these new economy components in here, which looks like it's mainly cards. Looks like it's mainly companies. But you've got the setup, you got more managers variant, and then you've got some levels to talk about here in the game. So this is again another expansion that doesn't really, just adds more to the game. Doesn't look like it adds a ton of new rules. It's just adding some new cards. So you got a food bank, a clinic, cargo ships, airships. All right, now we're starting to get into the sci-fi. Recycling, hydroponics, fishing corp, nanotech, and robotics. So adds a few new, and these are all, not all these are level 3, these are level 2. Oh, you got a level 1 here, a couple of level 1s here. So they're going to cover the gambit from level 1 to level 3 on their putting them into the company deck, so to speak. So you get that as well. So there you have it. That is that is everything that came in the bundle, but that is Crisis, the game. I don't even know if this bundle is still available out there, but I'm interested in them. I'm interested in economic type games, so I thought this would be an interesting simulation to see kind of how it plays out. It's got a really has a lot of detail on the workers, and the different types of workers, and even going to the level of having visa limits on the foreign workers. I mean, that's amazing. So a lot of detail, but yet it doesn't look so deep that I mean, it is worker placement, so it's not like you're have to get out a calculator and figure out the interest rates. There's going to be markers and tokens and counters that kind of help you keep track of everything, and you're basically going from area to area, but your decisions are going to make a big difference, right? Where you decide to focus, what resources, what companies, what workers, how you do exports, all that's going to play into the overall strategy. And again, you have this limitation of how the whole country is doing at the same time. That you have to keep in mind. On this is not just a straight out capitalistic Darwinism, where I'm going to make all the most money and I'm going to win the game. Well, you still need to try to do that, I imagine, but you're going to have this limitation of that. If you do that and the company goes down to too far below the zero mark, then everybody loses. Again, that's my understanding of what I know about it so far. And there's a watch it played on here, so you can sit there and there's probably a QR code in here somewhere where you can or just go there and watch it play. Anyway, so that's what I have for you today on Sanctuary Sunday. Thanks for stopping by. Love to know what you think about this. Have you played Crisis? Are you in a crisis? Love to know what you think about any of this stuff, and love to hear your thoughts. Or if you're like, you're not interested in this at all, it's economic, it looks crunchy, it looks number crunchy, it's boring. That's fine too. Love to know what you think. Just keep it civil. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Thanks for watching.